Hello and welcome back to a chapter day. It is Wednesday and it's July the 10th. Wow. Ooh, I think I'm nearing somebody I know whose birthday is in July. I have to try and remember. Okay, so we are going into Deuteronomy chapter 24. Yesterday we read about instructions for the children of Israel concerning people with infirmities, certain tribes that they were not to allow into their congregation, what else? Yeah, a lot of or personal hygiene, if we can say that, about keeping your dwelling place clean. And that's something that all believers or followers of God should want to do. I don't know how people can dwell in mess, but it's not natural for us to do so. Not even animals are supposed to be living in mess, and I don't think they like to either. Okay, so moving on, chapter 24. When a man hath taken a wife and married her, and it come to pass that she find no favor in his eyes, because he hath found some uncleanness in her, then let him write her a bill of divorcement, and give it in her hand, and send her out of his house. And when she is departed out of his house, she may go and be another man's wife. And if the latter husband hate her, and write her a bill of divorcement, and giveth it in her hand, and sendeth her out of his house, or if the latter husband die, which took her to be his wife, her former husband, which sent her away, may not take her again to be his wife, after that she is defiled, for that is abomination before the Lord. And thou shalt not cause the land to sin, which the Lord thy God giveth thee for an inheritance. When a man hath taken a new wife, and he shall not go out to war, neither shall he be charged with any business. But he shall be free at home 1 year, and shall cheer up his wife which he hath taken. No man shall take the nether of the upper millstone to pledge, for he taketh a man's life to pledge. If a man be found stealing any of his brethren of the children of Israel, and maketh merchandise of him, or selleth him, then that thief shall die, and thou shalt put away evil from among you. Take heed in the plague of leprosy, that thou observe diligently, and do according to all that the priest the Levite shall teach you. As I commanded them, so you shall observe to do. Remember what the Lord thy God did unto Miriam, by the way, after that you were come forth out of Egypt. When thou dost lend thy brother anything, thou shalt not go into his house to fetch his pledge. Thou shalt stand abroad, and the man to whom thou dost lend shall bring out the pledge abroad unto thee. And if the man be poor, thou shalt not sleep with his pledge. In any case thou shalt deliver him the pledge again when the sun goeth down, that he may sleep in his own raiment, and bless thee. And it shall be righteousness unto thee before the Lord thy God. Thou shalt not oppress an hired servant that is poor and needy, whether he be of thy brethren or of thy strangers that are in thy lands within thy gates. At his day thou shalt give him his hire, neither shall the sun go down upon it, for he is poor, and setteth his heart upon it, lest he cry against thee unto the Lord, and it be sin unto thee. The father shall not put to death for the children, neither shall the children be put to death for the fathers. Every man shall be put to death for his own sin. Thou shalt not pervert the judgment of the stranger, nor of the fatherless, nor take a widow's raiment to pledge. But thou shalt remember that thou wast a bondman in Egypt, and the Lord thy God redeemed thee thence. Therefore I command thee to do this thing. When thou cuttest down thine harvest in thy field, and hast forgot a sheaf in the field, thou shalt not go again to fetch it. It shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and for the widow. that the Lord thy God may bless thee in the work, in all the work of thine hands. When thou beatest thine olive tree, thou shalt not go over the boughs again. It shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and for the widow. When thou gatherest the grapes of thy vineyard, thou shalt not glean it afterward. It shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and for the widow. And thou shalt remember that thou wast a bondman in the land of Egypt. Therefore I commanded thee to do this thing. That's the end of the reading for chapter 24. Straightforward. It's talking about if a man takes a wife, does not find favor with her, he gives her a bill of divorcement, she goes out, marries someone else, that person doesn't find favor in her, or he dies, she's not supposed to go back to the other husband or the ex-husband and be remarried to him. I would say this, I have heard sometimes there, among the Hollywood famous people, this marrying, divorcing, remarrying, divorce. Well, according to biblical text, that ought not to be. If you divorce someone and went and married someone else, and then whatever happened, you come back to marry that other person, it shouldn't be. Okay, stealing and selling each other among brethren was not supposed to be. And there has been a lot of that. People talk about slavery, but slavery started with the Africans themselves selling each other. And not just Africans, in other places people would do that. Slavery has been around much longer than in America when it started in America. It's been happening in biblical times since Abraham. So, what else? Don't oppress your servants. He's poor. He's working for you because he's poor. And when it's time to pay him, you don't want to give him his wages. By the time someone is finished working with you, you should have their money ready. You should not have to tell them, go and come back. Give them their wages right there and then as the job is complete. You're going to owe the person money. Children are not going to be penalized for their parents' sins. So some people who say you're paying for what your parents know, you pay for what you did, not what your parents did. And if you took a pledge from someone, when it's time to reclaim it, don't barge into the person's house and say, this is mine. No, you go to the person's home, you call them, they will come out and they are supposed to bring out the pledge for you. Okay? You are not supposed to go and grab it or whatever the case may be. Okay, so I believe that's it for chapter 24. Once again, faith comes by the hearing of God's word. So until our next reading, have a great day. Bye.